generation cannot get a statement. We have seen that. And that's why South Point, this idea has been mentioned. Besides Demons in Atlanta, no, they went to the playoffs last year. As far as sending the Braves home and quarantine, they didn't do it last year. They put one power to until they see the Mets go and drop the hammer on the Braves, no pun intended, and do it in games in which Atlanta is all over the year. JJ Zero. Yanks looking to snap a 5-game losing streak while also trying to.
Yo, what up? Yeah. Fireworks night's probably gonna be cool, yeah. Oh. The Nets were good at times in the old days. Also 12-70. I got the alert from the Devils. It doesn't matter. No one's beating the Panthers. I'm not even thinking about that. I got the email. Holla. Jeremy Hansel and a draft pick. We'll see what comes of it. Let's go Devils and all that, though. Yeah, disappointed. I am completely disappointed. I don't even want to do this right now. Can the Yankees bring some guys up from AAA? No, it's not going to help. Going live to talk about the Yankees and the Mets losing. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Show starts now.
AM to AM on WFAN. Don't even want to do this right now. Well, I'm happy to host my show, but I don't want to keep talking about losing. The Yankees lose another game, 6 in a row. series. The Mets lose. I don't know which one is more embarrassing, honestly. They're both bad. I just think about us, WFAN, Yankee fans, Mets fans, how a week ago we're talking about first place teams, Subway Series, World Series. Who's better, the Mets or the Yankees? Can't beat the Red Sox, can't beat the Tampa Bay Rays, can't beat the Angels, can't beat the Braves. I mean, where do we start? Do we go Mets or Yankees? Doesn't matter. You want the good news first or the bad news first? It doesn't matter. Good news, the weather broke. Bad news, the Yankees had to play another game. You wish it got rained out, postponed. Maybe play a doubleheader tomorrow, have better luck. Good news, the scoreless streak ended. The scoreless streak had to end. Oh, but the losing streak, bad news, the losing streak continues. And good news. The Yankees held a players-only meeting. Oh, bad news. Aaron Boone said that didn't happen. That wasn't really a thing. That the guys talk all the time. There's no such thing as like a players-only meeting, closed-door meeting. Like, yeah, they talk all the time. Shout out to Randy Miller. Because Randy Miller reported that. But Randy Miller is also the same guy that told us like the Yankees weren't going to come close to offering Soto. Remember that? It was like the Blue Jays, Red Sox, whatever. Shout out to Randy, though. Randy being Randy. What else? Oh, good news. Ben Rice. He has another position. It's confirmed. Ben Rice started his first game behind the dish as a catcher. Oh, bad news. We wasted another good start. Yarby did what he could. Bullpen did what they could. We blew it again. I don't know what to tell y'all, man. It is super frustrating. I find myself in my living room wondering, like, why I care so much. I find myself in my living room staring at the TV, yelling at the TV at little things like, I don't know, a ball hitting Trent Grisham's foot or Trent Grisham trying to lay a bunt down but can't, and then Trent Grisham weakly popping up, and that's how he gets out. I don't know. This is a bad one. They're in a bad one. I look at Aaron Judge. Like, how does Aaron Judge go from being all world, breaking the game of baseball, to like now just being reduced to like they're not intentionally walking Judge now. They'll face him. Just he's neutralized. It's incredible. So I don't know what they need to do. Players only meeting didn't work or didn't happen. And they do hit 2 solo shots tonight to get back into the scoring, but it's not enough. And ultimately, Anthony Volpe, come on down, bro. We can't protect you anymore. There's nowhere to hide. You're the whipping boy tonight. Just come get these lashes. These fans are mad, and they're all calling for your head. And yeah, ultimately, this game came down to, it wasn't lost on this, but it came down to Anthony Volpe booting that ball. Tailor-made double play ball. Let that ball eat him up. Can't make the throw right in front of him at second. Run scores. And that's the difference in the game. And I knew, I swear, right after that moment, I looked at the box score. I'm like, okay, Dominguez is coming up. Volpe just had his last at bat. I'm like, this is going to come back around. It's going to end on Anthony Volpe. You know, they were able to find the stats of like how many sliders Anthony Volpe is seen on first pitches. They were able to find how many times Anthony Volpe swung on the first pitch. Somebody call me up and tell me how many times have we seen the Yankee game end where Anthony Volpe makes the final out? A lot in the last 3 years. And I hate to say it, man. As much as one of us, we love Anthony Volpe, this is looked at as a make or break year, and we're getting closer to break than make. Despite the doubles, the homers, the runs batted in, the Jeter jump throws, like these things stand out more where the fans get really loud. And I know the fans don't matter as far as like what the Yankees are going to do, but the fans are getting loud now. That's a tough one tonight. Volpe's got to shake it off. These guys got to dial it up and lock in and get focused. Like I said, little things like interference, can't lay a bunt down, taking the bunt. Why are we taking the bunt off? Boone talked about it. I'm like, I don't care. He's like, oh, they were playing the bunt aggressively. They've been. Like, I tip my cap to Ron Washington. I was saying last night, I'm tired of tipping my cap to the Angels. And I'm trying to figure things out with the Angels. Are there Angels in the outfield? Oh, well, I heard, they're undefeated at Dodger Stadium and Yankee Stadium. So maybe they just play up to their competition. They swept the Dodgers in Chavez Ravine. They just took 3 from the Yankees in the Bronx. Do not let them sweep the 4-game set tomorrow. 888-808-1019. It's corny. It is trash. It is dumpster juice. It is garbage. It is whack. Because when 7:05 comes, you just want to sit down and relax. When 7:05 comes, you just want to watch the New York Yankees. Bam, bam, bam. You just hope that they break out of it. And you know what? They're doing a great job with Hope Week, but I've got no hope in them shaking this off. I don't know what it's going to take. Golden thongs. Someone got to come in with a horse head. They all got to shave. Now they can all grow beards. Do something. Do anything. Boone, please, I beg you. If you got to yell, if you got to flip a table, I don't care if you got to grab a guy by his throat. Do something to just shake the room. Cashman, trade somebody. Trade somebody. And I know. Relax. They're still in first place. But, bro, that only lasts for so long. It's not just that they're losing. It's how they're losing. And the lead that they had in first place. It's dwindling. Tampa is 1.5 games back. And if you see anything from that game tonight with the Baltimore Orioles, the Orioles are trash. But you know what? Guess who's coming to town next? The Baltimore Orioles are coming to town next. And the Yankees got to figure this out. They got to get right. 888-808-1019. Good news and bad news. Good news. The Mets lost as well. But we can't even enjoy the Mets losing. We can't even enjoy the Mets being the Mets. The Mets got to overcome their own demons. You know what I'm saying? I remember I said about the Mets, I'm like, they've got their own issues and own curse of being the Mets. Juan Soto doesn't fix that. Money can't change that. The Braves are still very much the Braves. And after you blew that game last night, you kind of knew you set yourself up for a Chris Sale masterclass. Brian Snicker, what were you doing? Let that man finish that game. We wanted a Chris Sale complete game shutout. He wasn't going to lose a 5-run lead, 116 pitches. Let him get that last out. It was a Nimmo bloop single. Let him finish the job. What are you saving him for? You're going to have to trade him anyway. Brian Cashman, call up the Braves. Maybe Chris Sale, former Red Sox. The Red Sox traded Chris Sale. The Red Sox traded Rafael Devers. They traded Mookie Betts. They let Bogarts go. They let JD Martinez go. Maybe Chris Sale can come help the Yankees. 888-808-1019. How quickly everybody was ready to make Francisco Alvarez the whipping boy last night. Now look at Luis Torrens. Luis Torrens tried to scoop the ball up with his catcher's mitt or his catcher's mask. Can't do that. Can't do that. But yeah, that place still is a house of horrors. You know how rare it is to see a catcher make that mistake? A lot of these catchers don't even have those type of masks. They have the like hockey type masks that go over the back of your head, and he's got the little face one that he tried to scoop down. I'm like, what are you doing, bruh? And I mean, Paul Blackburn being forced into that position, Kodai Senga's spot, because Kodai Senga is down. Paul Blackburn just came back. He's not stretched out yet. He had a start. He's been coming out of the bullpen. He hasn't been great, but he did enough tonight. The Mets couldn't score. The Mets are turning into the Yankees. Just as soon as we're talking World Series and Subway Series and which team is better. And yeah, Paul Blackburn goes out there tonight and mama, there goes that man, Ronald Acuna Jr. That's tough. Ronnie smacks the first pitch he sees to deep center. Verdugo follows up. Austin Riley walks. And you know what? That game was over in the first because it just was a carryover from the night before. I don't know if maybe I was feeling that. I'm not a Mets fan. Mets fans, call me up, 888-808-1019. Tell me how you were feeling. It had to just be impending doom. Wow, after we blew it last night, this is how we start, giving up 3 runs in the first inning. Like that. They're awarded a run because Luis Torrens tries to pick up the ball with his equipment. You can't do that. Ozuna sac fly. It's 3-zip. And, later in the game, they're able to tack on. There was a moment where Ozzie Albies, I think he tripled, and he should have scored on a wild pitch. And then just the way baseball is, he got another opportunity, doubled, got on third, and scored. I think in the fourth inning, he doubled and was able to score. But Torrens was not good behind the plate. Torrens might not be ready for all of this. Francisco Alvarez, you can't quit on yet. He's one of your top prospects, and you're going to have some tough decisions to make with that young guy. And ultimately, it's on the offense tonight. Lindor said, it's hard to win when your leadoff hitter doesn't do his job, something along those lines. And, he's 0 for 4 again, and he's struggling a bit, and he knows he's in it. Yeah, he said at the end of the day, it's tough to win games when your leadoff guy is not getting on base. And Chris Sale had everything going. That was vintage Chris Sale tonight. Chris Sale threw 53 sliders, 49 four-seam fastballs, and that angle that he comes, I was listening to the broadcast, and they're talking about how when he pitches, there's just a lot of arms and legs coming at you. And you guys know Chris Sale. What I love about Chris Sale, the best story about Chris Sale is when he was with the White Sox, and they had those throwback uniforms, and he comes to his locker, and he sees the throwback uniform, and he doesn't like it, so he takes scissors to it and cuts it up. He's real like that. And he was real like that tonight against the Mets. 888-808-1019. That's a losing streak for the Mets. That is a night where Juan Soto goes 0 for 3 or 0 for 4. Pete Alonso has 3 strikeouts, goes 0 for 4. The offense can't do anything. Torrens, his bad defense with the pass balls, with the reaching for the ball with his face mask, he also does nothing at the plate. And you just can't get any offense going. 5 hits, a masterclass from Chris Sale, and kind of leaves you scratching your head like, wow, we just lost a series to the Braves. I thought this was our chance to go down there and put them out of their misery. Instead, we're breathing life into our nemesis. We're breathing life into a foe here that has haunted us for so many years. The more things change, the more things stay exactly the same. 888-808-1019. This sucks. Let's just talk through it and get over it. And the sun will come out tomorrow. And the Yankees try to not get swept, and the Mets try not to get swept. But ultimately, they lost these series, and it's been a pitiful watch. And it sucks as fans to sit down at night and try to enjoy the game, forget about work, forget about the stress of life and other things going on in the world. And then the team stresses you out and pisses you off, and you just end up stuck listening to WFAN and Keith McPherson show and people calling and complaining all night. We'll get into it. 888-808-1019. KM to AM returns right after this. Means Aaron.
All right, in there, chat. What's goody? We're open for business now. Do the Mets need a pitcher at the trade deadline? Perhaps. Montas has been trash. Perhaps. This is your standard June swoon. Both teams did good enough to build up a buffer. They can afford to go through these valleys, but will come out on the other side. Of course, right? I will multiple times tonight mention that this is baseball. This is what happens, but it sucks because we were just celebrating how good these teams are and talking World Series and pitting one against another. And right when that happens, baseballs. That's a classic. My guy from Fast and the Furious, METS. My entire team sucks, but the Yankees suck as well. So you got to come up with one for YANKEES. Yankees going to make me start drinking on a Wednesday. Regression to the mean for Grisham. Yeah, Grisham. I don't want to see Grisham. I don't know. I don't want to see Grisham leading off. He's just very cavalier. I'm kind of over it with him. I'm good, bro. I don't know what to tell y'all, man. I don't know what to tell y'all tonight, yo. I don't know what to tell y'all. What's up, Keith? I'm sick of the Yankees choking the month of June away and their brand of baseball right now. That's the thing that pisses you off, because it's like, I've seen this episode before. I've seen some Junes like this before. I've felt this before. This is the same song, same episode. Sid Volpe always does better when he rests. I'm going to star that. And I'll give my response on air because I think people want to hear that. Rice did play well behind the plate. He threw a guy out. They tested him. I know Kingery stole a base. But other than that, he threw Ohapi out. So I think he passed the test. And like I said, Yarby had a decent enough game. They wasted it. Yeah, that's on Boone too. Cruz walks 2 batters, you take him out. They let that go for too long. Boone is safe. Mets do get spooked in Atlanta. It's a house of horrors for them. Hanging lineup sideways didn't work. Chris Sale is still Chris Sale, man. Yeah, they're showing their youth. They're showing the moment is too big for them at times. They're showing they're not dialed in, locked in like they need to be. They got to learn from it. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. What's that guy's name? Connor Brogdon comes in and gets Judge and Belly out. Demon D, you the greatest, bro. You the greatest, bro. Appreciate it. Nah, never can play small ball. Homer or nothing tonight. Bronx Bombers tonight. It's another one. I'll star this. Volpe needs to sit. Yeah, they are on dummy time. Or are we on dummy time? I think we're the ones on dummy time because all we do is spend our free time watching this dummy baseball. Yeah, I don't know what to tell y'all, man. Mets losses have been worse. Well, I will say back-to-back. Yeah, because a collapse late and then a just absolute, almost complete game shutout, that's tough. All right, I'm back. I got everything from the chat pretty much. Young players on both teams are simply not developing and carrying their weight. You can point to Volpe and Francisco Alvarez. They're the same class. They were together in LA at the Futures game. I remember seeing them there. Not good enough. Trade LeMahieu and McNeil. McNeil is a bright spot. 20-game on-base streak. That's good news. Yeah, they're whack right now, but we love them and we won't abandon them, and we're going to keep talking about them and watching them and rocking with them, and it is what it is. Spencer Jones and George Lombard are the pride of the Syracuse Patriots. Yeah, that Volpe play killed me, bro. I'm in my living room bro, I can't. I cannot. Rodon tomorrow versus Tyler Anderson. Most Met fans had this one chalked up as an L from Jump Street. That's why exactly. Because you knew you had to throw Paul Blackburn versus Chris Sale, and come on, yo. Come on, yo. What do you want me to tell y'all, man? The Rays are selling their team. The Lakers sold. We'll get to it later. The Jets and Giants watch Love Island. We'll get to it later. But we're going to cope, and we're going to cry, and we're going to complain. And, yeah, that's just where we're at. That is where we're at. Yankees can't even bunt, though. The Yankees can't bunt. It's hilarious. The Yankees can't bunt, so they end up taking the bunt off. Like they can't bunt. They try to bunt, and when they can't, Boone's just like, the hell with it. It's pitiful. Don't save All right, let's get to the phone, man. Your boy Keith McPherson on the fan till 2 a.m. We're going to talk about losers. I'm a loser. All of us. You know, in the chat, streaming live on my YouTube, on my Twitter, as I do every night, they're like, which losses are worse? The Mets losses or Yankees? Like, they're all trash. Like the Yankees can't lay a bunt down to the point where Aaron Boone is just taking the bunt off. Like, to hell with it. Go ahead. Forget it. They're playing it aggressively now. You guys can't lay down bunts. Like, we can't. Taylor made double play ball given to, like, these are the Angels, bro. They must have angels in the outfield. And like for the Mets, you blow that game yesterday, a 4-1 lead. You blow that game in that fashion. You already knew you lost the series. You had to throw Paul Blackburn, who we don't know how many, pitches he was going to get to. I think he got to like 73 or something. I'm not even mad at Paul Blackburn. Like, he did what he could. But the offense could do nothing with Chris Sale, so you just chalk that one up to L. Against the Braves, you're supposed to go down there and tell the Braves, we've got Soto. Oh, no. And, it is crazy to hear people take up for Juan Soto running into outs. You can't pay a guy that much money, then absolve him of all of his mistakes and shortcomings. That's part of the deal. 888-808-1019, man. Let's get it started. My guy, Robbie and Lennox. Robbie, what is going on?
Uniform was given to me by Joe Pepitone, who was actually my friend Larry's uncle, because my friend Irene was married. His sister was married to Joe Pepitone, so that's how long I've been a Yankee fan. Look, you can't win when you get 2 runs on 3 hits, okay? The offensive approaches are ridiculous. But I will say this. Again, Boone takes the bunt off in the 8th inning with first and second. Why are you taking the bunt off, you moronic imbecile?
Because they can't do it. They can't effectively do it.
They can't hit. And in the 9th inning, here's the question for you, Keith. In the 9th inning, Goldie gets on an error. Keith, you know ABC baseball. Keith, what do you do when a man's on first in the 9th and you know you can tie the game at home and you're supposed to play for the win on the road? So
you gotta get that run in. Goldie feet first.
Second. You get Goldie the second by bunting him over. Then you put yourself in a position. And I have to say about Mr. GOAT, Anthony Volpe. Oh, my God. Please call Derek Jeter up on the phone and teach this kid how to be a contact hitter and stop looking like he's trying to be Babe Ruth every time he comes up to the plate. Okay? He's the antithesis of Derek Jeter. He has no instinctiveness on the base path. He has no instinctiveness on the field. It's like watching a complete antithesis of Derek Jeter. I mean, you can't teach these things. These are instinctive things that you can't teach, Keith. And Anthony Volpe, for some reason, doesn't have it. And Jason Dominguez needs to go down to the minor leagues. This guy has 6 home runs. What has he done? What has this guy done since 3 home runs in Oakland? Oh, we were claiming the Martian. He came in from outer space. Keith, what's going on with this guy? And Austin Wells has disappeared. To me, it's a bunch of guys that are on their way out and a bunch of guys that haven't proven themselves yet. So we're seeing the holes. My question for you, if you're a general manager, if you're Brian Cashman, who do you get? What do you get? And by the way, thank you, Brian Cashman, for 15 years without a leadoff hitter. Congratulations. Just ask when the last time the leadoff hitter on the Yankees was.
Thanks for the call, Robbie. I'm good on Trent Grisham as the leadoff hitter. I think we can stop that. I think we can move on from that. And, who do we get? What do we get? I already mentioned Chris Sale. Tyler Anderson was the name. We'll see him tomorrow. Oh, guess what? More good news. Here comes Carlos Rodon when you need him to be a stopper. A day game. It's going to be hot out there. He's going to be sweating bullets. He's going to have to overcome all the pressure. And the Yankees have had so many good starts without the hitting. It's due to come around, right? I don't know. Wishful thinking. Rodon turns back into being the dominant Rodon, bearded Rodon, and shoves. And the Yankees are able to just, I don't know, not just hit solo shots, the Bronx Bombers, but maybe string together a couple runs and play some small ball and lay some bunts down in situations. And I don't know, man, I'll take a couple singles. Please. And yeah, with Volpe, man, it's just, Volpe, Wells, Dominguez, they're young. But how long do we say like they're young? There's a lot of young players in baseball. There's a lot of young teams relying on young players, and they're blending in as if they are veterans. Nolan Shanuel is 23 years old. That's the guy that hit that first bomb tonight where I'm like, here we go. We're back to misery. Christian Moore is a young guy on there. The Angels are calling up their young guys, and their old school, old time manager is managing them to the best of his ability and getting what he can out of them. And then they're mixing in the Mike Trouts and the Joe Adells and you know what I'm saying, man? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm not, this is what I'll tell you. Positive energy here. Woo-saw. Everybody take a inhale, exhale. This too shall pass. Luigi in White Plains on the Fan in New York.
What's up, brother? Thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
Love the show. Love your show.
Thank you.
It's depressing. 6 games in a row, we can't hit. I hate to say it. Are we a one-man team? Aaron Judge, does this thing and the Yankees win, and all of a sudden Aaron Judge goes cold and we're done.
Yeah.
Can't get a single, can't get a bunt, can't hit a home run, can't do nothing.
And I don't want to say this, and I hate that people are saying this, and these are people that hate the Yankees. Hey, well, this is what happens in October. The team goes as Aaron Judge goes. This is getting tense. There's pressure in this moment to break the losing streak, break the scoreless streak, and Judge is coming up small. They follow him. He's the leader, the captain, the face of the franchise.
I know everybody wants to beat up on Volpe right now, but what happened to the other players that we got? I know we missed Juan Soto, but what happened to all the other players?
Yeah, like what about all these MVPs, right?
Yes.
What about all these high-paid players that are veterans and that have all of this time in the league? Like, they called the players-only meeting supposedly last night. Thanks for the call, Luigi. And I thought it was hilarious when they asked Boone. I'll have to get the audio. I'll send it to Zoo. I had the thought. I'm like, did Boone pour cold water on this so that he makes it seem like, no. Like I'm running things. Like I'm the manager. Everything's under control. We're all cool, calm, and collected. No worries here. We don't need a players-only meeting. Like, he just kind of made it where he was like, oh, no, they talk all the time. But the report said that the meeting was called by Aaron Judge. Okay, makes sense, captain. Yeah, I just talked about him, face of the franchise. They go as he goes. He goes 0 for 4 tonight. Giancarlo Stan. Okay, Big G. We keep talking about Big G. Big G talking about we don't get swept at home. Wait, hold. Excuse me, say what? The Diamondback series, Stanton came out and said, we don't get swept at home. And Keith McPherson came on the Fan, and I said, that's not cool. Stan's not playing. And now, like, that sets a precedent for, like teams come into Yankee Stadium. They know this is the greatest stage, the bright lights. Everybody's watching. This is on national TV. You think that Ron Washington isn't telling his Angels players to hell with the Yankees? Brooms. We're sweeping their asses, and then we're out of here. So be careful. Stanton is back now. And in the first series that Stanton is back now, if the Yankees get swept at home after he said in the first month of the season we don't get it. So it was Judge, it was Stanton, it was Paul Goldschmidt. Okay, Goldie, former MVP. He's been in the league plus 10 years, like Goldie, respect. And Cody Bellinger, another former MVP, respect. Those are the 4 guys that supposedly called the meeting. Belly showed up tonight. Goldie, I mean, he got on when we needed him to get on. It was an error, but he got on. Stanton was not in the lineup, but obviously pinch hit, and it's funny to see Yankee Stadium now. Giancarlo Stanton, everybody's favorite player now, year 8. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. We can't put it on Volpe. In my chat, people are talking about they got to sit Volpe. They got to sit Volpe. They're not going to sit their starting shortstop. And put who in? Peraza? When I saw the lineup today with Peraza, I'm like, oh. I'm just like, we don't have any answers. Katie Sharp put out a stat today. I had to clip it. Because Peraza Palooza never gets started. Peraza Palooza, I'm a loser. Oswald Peraza has 2 seasons in MLB with 100-plus plate appearances. Go back to 2023 and now 2025. In 2023, here was his slash line. 191, 267, 272. A 49 OPS plus. Fast forward to present day, 2025. His slash line is 160. It's worse. 160, 246, 292, a 51 OPS plus. And this is a player that we got reports on this week that they're trying to put in the outfield now. They're trying to have him become Pablo Reyes or IKF or a utility guy that can possibly play the outfield for what? And then they put him in the lineup today because DJ is 36. So you got to give DJ a rest. And it's not like DJ is super effective either. Maybe Peraza can run into one, hit a home run, and nope, Peraza's batting 157. And that's who you guys want to play shortstop. Now, what I will also say, right, positive energy here, this is a long stretch. This is 16 games in a row with no off day for the Yankees. So it's tough, man. They're playing every day. They can't run from it. They can't hide from it. And there isn't another off day until a week from tomorrow. They got to play through it. And the Orioles are not going to have any sympathy for them. The fans aren't going to have any sympathy for them. If you think they're booing during these weekday games, 43,000 in there tonight, wait till Aaron Judge Superman bobblehead night Friday. There's going to be 47, 48,000 there. And then a hot weekend. Fans are going to be liquored up, boozed up. It's going to be boo, boo. They're not sitting Volpe. And like him getting arrested, he's not getting arrested. He's got to work through it. He's got to battle through it. And like this is it. This is the team. It is what it is. They are in a bad one right now, but nobody is coming to save the day. There isn't any different answers. They can try and tweak the lineup. We're getting different lineups every night. We saw Ben Rice behind home plate tonight. It still didn't matter. It still didn't matter. They had 3 hits. It still didn't matter. 3 of those hits, 2 of them were solo shots. It still didn't matter. Last night, they couldn't even work walks. At least they worked 2 more walks than they had the night before. Gary's in Waterbury, back on the fan. G-Makes, what's up?
Yeah. Make fair the Cavalier.
The Boone audio.
You know it. Make fair the Cavalier.
Yeah.
Yo, love you, dog. This is WFAM. That's your quote. It's the fam for life. Yo, shouts to my brother Doug. Shouts to my brother Rinaldi. And shouts to Big Zoo for taking a call. But how are the Rays this close to us in the division with less than a third of the payroll? Cashman.
And you heard the report today, right? Since you bring up the Rays, you kind of, I was going to get to it because later I was going to talk about how they're on our heels. The Tampa Bay Rays, they're about to sell the club. They're about to sell the team to a guy from Jacksonville who's a home builder. And there's rumors that they might move the franchise to Jacksonville. I don't think they're going to do that, but like,
yeah. And they're playing in our stadium, and they're on our heels more than Boston. How is that possible? Cashman has to take a hit. I used to call and say, "Foo Philly, foo Cashman," but he has to take a little bit of a hit here.
How? He
little
never takes a hit. From who? From whom? Who is going to hit Cashman?
I know, but come on,
GM.
But whose fault is it though? The Rays are on our heels.
At this point, it's everybody's fault. The team that Brian Cashman built, some of these jokers that are on this team right now that have regressed and that now in this, what they want to call Boone, June, Swoon, are getting exposed. Yeah. It's everybody's fault. But like ultimately, this isn't the ending. This is really just the first third of the season. And now we're in the second part of this, I don't know. It's not finite.
I'm still not worried overall because we're going to make the playoffs. You got to be high in October, but
But it sucks because you had a 7-game
Cashman has to do better. Cashman has to do way better. I'm still not worried because we're going to be there in the end.
But G-Makes, this is what we talk about as Yankee fans. We're used to being there at the end, but we haven't won at the end. We haven't been the last team standing at the end. So when we see this team can't do things like lay down bunts, this team can't play small ball, can't string together runs, they have low IQ at bats. They can't routine plays in the field. We say, look, it's the same from last year. It's the same thing. And it's going to pop up again in October.
And George is turning over in his grave. And you know that. I love you, dog.
Appreciate the call, bro. I try to leave George out of this. I really do. It's regular season baseball, folks. We've seen this. And that's what sucks. Because this team, what was it? Like they'll be the first to 50 wins. And then last year was the June gauntlet, right? 2022, they were the first team to 50 wins, and then they started to struggle. Last year was, okay, here comes the June gauntlet. Let's see how good you are when you have to face the Dodgers and the Braves and the Orioles and the Mets and whoever else. And like, don't look now. But if you look at July, like I do, I don't even want to get too far ahead of myself. That's what I'm saying. If they don't pick it up and correct this now, like you're going to be fighting for your lives all summer in the hot sun, and it's not going to be that easy. Nobody is feeling sorry for you, and the All-Star break is a month away. The trade deadline is still a ways away. Like, this is the team. This is who they have, and how long are you going to be able to pitch but not hit? Eventually, if you're not hitting and the pitching doesn't come, like, it could get bad. So they got to wake up, man. They got to come out of it because, like, losing to the Boston Red Sox back-to-back weekends, losing to the Angels, like, these are supposed to be series that you got to have. You ripped off 7 series wins in a row, man. Come on, pick it up, wake it up. In Irvington, New Jersey, Neil is on the fan. Hello, Neil.
2 days ago, and I told you about Toronto and who's the Blue Jays are better than the Yankees. You said, no.
They're not.
Get off that bandwagon with the Yankees.
The Blue Jays are not better than the Yankees.
Okay. But you're going to go to Toronto for 4 games coming up. That's going to tell the truth right there, Keith. And you know what the Yankees do, Keith? Just get enough product just for you to buy tickets. We fill that stadium 40. They got Goldsmith, Bellinger. That's enough. They didn't want nobody else. Most people fill that stadium 47,000, 46,000, 51,000. The Yankees go away, they go somewhere, they fill their stadium. Now, how much did I need you to answer this question. How much did the Yankees offer Soto?
$760 million over 16 years.
You believe that, Keith? The Yankees should have backed up.
Wouldn't it be me?
To the pullback, the Yankees and Cashman would have messed on themselves. That much money on one player? Never, Keith. You know that. Yankees don't want to spend no money.
But come on, bro. Thanks for the call, Neil. They spent, Brad, what are we saying? They pivoted. They went and paid Max Fried for 8 years. They did bring in Belly. They did bring in Goldschmidt. They did trade for Devin Williams, Fernando Cruz. Judge does make $40 million a year. Rodon makes what, 26, 27 a year. DJ's making $15 million a year. They have one of the top payrolls. Their payroll is still over $300 million. That's not the problem right now. The problem right now is these guys are so tight and pressing, and they're so in their heads, and the game is 90% mental, 10% physical, the rest or whatever the yogiism is, and they are out of it. They are completely out of it. When we come back, we'll play some audio. We'll play some audio from Aaron Boone. We'll play some audio from Aaron Judge as well. We'll take more of your calls. And I think I got a Mets call on the line. We'll start to lean into the Mets because at least it'll make me feel a little bit better talking about the Mets losing too. Keith McPherson on the fan. I'll say good morning on the other side. BRB.
It's BT and Sal. Middays 10 to 2 on
Good morning. Good morning. I hope it is a good morning. I hope it is. Honestly, hope you're not contemplating your life and how much time you waste watching baseball. Keith McPherson on the Fan, 888-808-1019. Let's roll through these calls, man. I only got 2 hours left, and I don't know. You got to laugh it off. It sucks, though. It sucks. It sucks because, as I was just saying, contemplating, why you spend so much time. Everybody that I know knows I'm a Yankee fan. Everybody that I know knows that I work in radio and I'm watching the game. So, as the Yankees keep losing, I'll get texts like, yo, what's wrong with your Yankees? As if, what's wrong with my Yankees? I did this. There's something I could do to change this. And that's infuriating. Those are texts that you take your thumb and you just swipe to the left and delete. I don't even answer those. Oh, now you want to text me, right? You weren't texting me as the Yankees were sweeping the Angels in Anaheim a couple weeks ago. You weren't texting me as Judge was hitting home runs and all of these, people pull up to get these Yankees tears. I'm going to take some calls. We're going to play some audio from the captain and from the manager. And then I'm just going to find a way to talk about the Mets instead and just shift the focus to the Mets, are they paper tigers? What about the Mets pitching lab? Frankie Montas, you seen him? He's coming back. Send him ASAP. He's ready. They need help. The Mets are banged up. Sean Manaea, you ready to go? Here it is. David Stearns. Who you getting at the deadline? Can I interest you in a JC Escara? Maybe the Mets need to be looking for a catcher. Moose in Jamaica, back on the Fan in New York. Good morning.
Here, Keith, what it do?
Here, what up, man?
Chilling. Just riding this out to re-emphasize in 2023, and we were struggling. I showed up to a game in August, in September, where we lost to the Blue Jays 3-0, and there were probably 20 people in the stadium. So I'm gonna ride that hard. But more importantly, you mentioned somebody call you up and let you know the last time Volpe had a chance to redeem himself. If you remember last year, sometime in June, I believe, against the Red Sox, he had an error in the 7th or 8th inning to give them the lead. This wasn't Sunday Night Baseball, but it was a series where there was Sunday Night Baseball. He had an error that gave the Red Sox the lead. They tacked on an extra run in the top of the ninth. And then Volpe, right on cue, had a chance in the bottom of the ninth with 2 runners on, facing Chris Martin, because I think Kelly Jansen, who was their closer for the Red Sox last year, was injured or something. On a 2-2 pitch, a cutter that was hanging, he pulled it down the line. It was almost gone. It was just foul. And then the very next pitch, he chased the cutter upstairs.
I remember.
To strike out.
Mm-hmm.
You remember?
Yeah.
And I was, and you were talking about it damn, Volpe, come through. You need your Yankee moment. And that's all I wanted to call and talk to you about. I want to just shout out Azoo one time. And if he can do this for a favor for me, this may be unpopular with what's going on in the world, but if on the comebacks, the beats that he can drop, some clips or some NRG, possibly some grinding, or when the last time you heard it like this, or fronting the combo with Jay-Z, that would be lovely. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, Moose. Y'all on that new Pusha T? I don't know if I'm rocking with Pusha T, man. I like Travis Scott. I like Cactus Jack. La Flame. I'm a big Travis Scott guy. And now I'm seeing how Pusha T again is using beef. Again, Pusha T is using beef to attack a popular artist to get his name popping again, his streams up. Pusha T is too old for this. He's too old for this. Pusha T, you about to be 50, my boy. You 48 going on 49. Enough. But hey, what I will say is Pusha T will go hard for Skateboard P. For Pharrell, he got bars for Pharrell, to back Pharrell. And that's what that whole thing was about. My hip-hop heads listen and understand, from Meltdown, the Drake track, and if you know what's going on with the new Clips album, maybe we will play some Clips beats when we get a minute. But right now we got to play Aaron Boone being asked about the players-only meeting yesterday and what he had to say about it. Let's play that. Oh, well,
about at least tonight.
Give me a second. Pause that. So I go back. This is actually Judge. We have Boone as well. This is Judge post game, and then we'll go back and we'll play what Aaron Boone said about the players only meeting. But I said we're going to do both. So right now we have Judge queued up. Let's go to Judge. This is Judge just after another loss, after he goes 0 for 4, 6-game losing streak, and they're in a bad one. And people are talking about this Boone June swoon. Okay, play Judge.
I'm just talking about at least tonight, a couple opportunities. They came out swinging. We got that first run in the first, and, we fought back. Jazz with the big homer to kind of tie it up, but I felt like the at-bats were better. Guys were putting better swings on, hit some balls right at some guys, but that's baseball. You know what we signed up for. You're going to play 162. You're going to hit a little rut like this, but you can't give up. You can't mope about it. You just got to show up the next day and be ready to play.
So show up the next day and be ready to play, but this is a quick turnaround. You got to go home, go to sleep, shake this off, and be at the ballpark early for some afternoon baseball. Okay, now let's go back to earlier yesterday, Aaron Boone's pregame presser, where the media asked about Randy Miller's article that said that the Yankees, after losing the second game of this 4-game set, held a players-only meeting behind closed doors after the third shutout loss. Let's hear what Boone had to say about that.
There was a report that there was a players-only meeting last night. Was that your understanding of what actually took place?
Oh, I mean, our guys talk all the time and get together in different formats. So
it wasn't like a closed door, beaming session?
No.
I don't know where you got that from. Let's go to Thomas in Newtown, Connecticut on the Fan in New York. What's up, Thomas?
What's up, Keith? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing as well as we can with the June swoon, I guess, right?
We've done a lot better. We were doing better in April, May, for sure.
Definitely. I mean, I'm not full-blown panic mode. I mean, they do this thing every summer, as we know, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I just think the floor of this team's a little too high to go past the 2 seed in the AL and win in the East. That's positivity. That being said, how many times are we going to have to act as though we have so many insane talents up and down the lineup that are too dangerous to waste as a bunter in a key spot? I mean, I know it's become kind of a cottage industry on the radio to make fun of guys if we don't bunt, but between the 3 innings of the ghost runners in Boston and the 2 the other night, then we had an 8th inning and a 9th inning with runners on second, no outs, and that's 5 times and we don't get the runner over once. I mean, come on, that's inexcusable.
It is. It's literally stuff. I'm trying to think. I'm like, the only person to effectively lay down a bunt, I think, was Oswaldo Cabrera against the Padres in that series. And like, Oswaldo's season is done. Nobody else can effectively lay down a bunt. They all need to be able to. Maybe the only guy you don't ask to lay down a bunt is Judge, maybe Goldie, maybe Belly, even Belly. Like you're an outfielder with some speed. Like, all these guys should be practicing that. But I don't know. It's like, these are the Yankees. This is pro ball. In batting practice, they're not making these guys practice laying down bunts, and you need it. You literally need it in modern day baseball. Hal Steinbrenner, coming off the 2023 season, said, we're talking about bunting and practicing bunting, and we haven't seen it since.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and all of these games, I mean, as bad as it's been, I don't think we've lost by more than 2. And you score in any of those 3 games that we had those ghost runners or guys on second in the 8th, 9th inning, you could have won 3 of those games, and that means we're 6-3 in our last 9.
You could have stopped the bleeding. We've been bleeding out because of low IQ at bats, swinging at first pitches, not situational hitting, not being able to lay down bunts, and it has just continued. And yeah, the solo shots broke it up. Jazz with a solo shot breaks it up, and of course, Jazz, my boy, got no shame. He does his floater shot. He comes around, throws the 2 fingers up, does his dance. And I'm like, good for Jazz, but we better win this game. And we ultimately did not win the game.
Yeah, definitely. And then just super, super quick, there's been a lot of chatter the last 2 years, right, with the whole Steve Cohen takeover and signing Soto and everybody saying it's kind of becoming a Mets town. I think the last week is Exhibit A of why it's still not even close and why it might never be a Mets town. I mean, the Yanks have lost 6 straight, and rightfully so. The narrative everywhere is sky is falling. It's been ugly, whatever. But nobody's talking about the Mets losing 5 in a row. I mean, I got the notification today. It was their 5th straight loss, and I was kind of surprised. I knew they'd been scuffling, but it's like, wow. Kind of shows you who
Still
still
the
owns
Mets.
the news, Wade.
That's what I was
Yep.
saying a little bit in my open, Thomas. Thanks for the call. They still got to overcome their own curse of being the Mets, their own uniforms, their own rivals and nemesis. Don't worry about us being your rival. Don't ask Yankee fans, who's your biggest rival? Worry about the Braves. Money can't just shake off your own history. You still got to go down to Atlanta and play games and figure out how to not blow a game and then follow that up with a complete game shutout. And when we talk about this, whose town is it, whatever, the Yankees are so far ahead, it's going to take a long time. I have imagined a world, but by the time this world could exist, like the Yankees would have to go out of business. Steve Cohen would have to build the casino. The Mets would have to win 3 World Series. Juan Soto would have to be 3-time World Series MVP, and it's just far-fetched. You don't become the Kings. You don't become the bigger brother. I hate even doing the big brother, little brother stuff. It's like it doesn't happen overnight. You can't buy it. You got to earn it. You got to win. And that's why I had that rant early in the year about you can add LED lights. You can add a mascot race. You can add the generational Juan Soto, who's a 250 hitter who is running into outs on the base paths, and you've got people taking up for him and saying, I don't need him to run the base. Yes, you do. He's a player on your team. He's costing you. You need him to hit, but you also need him to not cost you outs. You need him to step up and not be such a me guy. He's a 248 hitter right now. So, yeah, all the talk about, the Yankees still are going to have a higher attendance, right? I clap for the Mets. They're in the top 5 in attendance. The Yankees are top 5. They're not 5. The Mets are 5. Congrats. And they had the best home field advantage until a team that doesn't even have a home field, a team that is renting, right? They're literally Airbnb-ing the Yankees' spring getaway. That team comes to Citi Field, sweeps the Mets, steps right up and sweeps the Mets. Just got to humble yourselves, crawl before you walk and eventually run, and worry about your own division and your own issues. We do too much talking about we're your biggest rivals. We're better than you now. We got Soto. Just focus on who's in front of you. 888-808-1019. You don't have the Rockies and Nationals to play against anymore. The Marlins are done. The A's are done. It's about to get interesting now. There's a stretch here for the Mets against their actual rivals, the Braves and the Phillies. There's a stretch here that is going to determine a lot in the NL East. The Mets have injuries. The Mets have questions that are mounting. And now we got to hit refresh on our information. How much can this pitching lab continue to reinvent and recreate some of these guys? How long does that pixie dust that you sprinkled on Griffin Canning last? Tyler McGill is hurt. Kodai Senga is hurt. You're going to pitch Frankie Montas. Frankie Montas can't get 19, 20, 21-year-olds out right now. Let's see. Frankie Montas tonight. Frankie Montas tonight in his AAA outing, he had 5 innings pitched, gave up 7 hits, 5 runs, walked a guy, had 2 strikeouts, threw 80 pitches. That's his 6th rehab outing. I haven't seen one line come through and say, yep, he's worth the contract that you gave him. And he's on the way. You got to throw him. I don't know who's going to be doing the catching. Hayden Sanger? Or maybe you trade for someone. And it seems like now Alonso has come down to earth a little bit, and Lindor is not in the groove that he's in. I'm sure it's not the pinky toe. It's just baseball. He's slumping a little bit. But how do they break out of it? Carlos Mendoza Wake these guys up. Yeah, let's flip the page. Instead of talking about Boone, let's talk about Steady Mendy. Mendy, get these guys together. Get their young guys to wake up. Ronnie Mauricio, that hype died down very quickly. The only bright spot I'll report from the Mets game tonight is Jeff McNeil. 20-game on-base streak. The longest on-base streak going on in Major League Baseball right now. But ultimately, you got embarrassed by Chris Sale and the Braves. And it's got to suck to come right back down to earth and go right back. The more things change, the more things stay the same. 888-808-1019. Let's go to Josh in Passaic, a Mets fan on the Fan.
Yo, Keith, what's poppin', man?
Gotta talk Mets a little bit just to, let my Yankee fans kick back for a second and be like, yeah, let's take a look across the street over there.
Oh, we definitely should. And, we kind of let slip. We get all hyped, the Mets play bad teams. And, in the beginning of the year, Keith, and the Mets were playing great also. We talk about how easy their schedule was. And it's just hard, they did have that big stage win against the Dodgers and when they really swept the Phillies. But, most only when they come to play these great teams and they look like a solid, but they're not too great. And, it's been a tough losing streak. But, you got to look at the lineup. And I remember, like a few months before, way before the season, after they signed Soto, it was like 2 weeks later, everyone's still talking about him. And I called in and said, no, Keith, where's the rest of this? Let's got to add more players. And, the offense wasn't that great last year. It was all the pitching. And whoa, Josh, slow down. You guys just got Juan Soto. You got to enjoy him. You guys don't got to do anything too crazy. You got Juan Soto. And, they didn't really add anybody. I just think they almost didn't even get Pete Alonso would have gone with this lineup. Another thing that's got to fall away the theory to do is don't tell us you're going to have 3 guys that are going to play second base. And one of them will surely turn out great. You put that as a chances. And, the call was saying last night, I know how, I see that guy, Armstrong, go to the Cubs. That's why we got to hug our prospects. Don't hug prospects. Look at the Dodgers who won the World Series last year. Look at line Freddie Freeman, Ohtani, Mookie Betts. These guys aren't homegrown. And how many of these Mets have actually turned out? There's so many of them. We were talking about this, obviously like 2 years ago, how many prospects they brought up. And look what they're actually doing. It's and even the guys that do come out well, and you look at a lot of these great players, they were like second, third, late round picks. They weren't even such top 1, top 2 prospects. And they start cracking at some point. You bring them up, they get some hot shit going. And you see Alvarez also the number 1 prospect. You couldn't trade him for anything. You never could go in for anything by any trade though. And you're not a few years ago, the Mets had that 100-win season. And it's trying to be somewhat this again this year. And it's just hard because what is the point of waiting for these prospects to go when you want to win now? You're seeing this. How many times do you have to go over through this? It's not the way to go. You get players that are good now. Why wait for players to be good in 5 years?
Well, you've spent money on a lot of guys in the recent years trying to get those players. And, you put a lot of money into the players at the top of your lineup, Lindor, Soto, Nimmo, Alonso, and you elected to not bring back a Jose Iglesias. You elected to go with the young guys like Luis Angel Acuna, Brett Beatty, Mark Vientos is hurt. They will get guys back that they did add like Jose Siri, like Jesse Winker, but how much of a difference are they going to make? We don't know.
Added 187 last year, and someone's got to remind Ronnie Mauricio what contact means. Seems I've forgotten how to do that. He's off on every single pitch. And that was the one guy I was actually really hyped about this year that I thought it would be fine. If the regular guys don't work out, we got to see this guy at the end of that disastrous year 2 years ago. And he's been disastrous. And you speak about spending money. They didn't do that with their starting lineup. These guys are on small deals. So I'm going to want to use the word lucky. They didn't get good deals with these guys, and they get smart players.
They did spend some money on the pitching, not a lot, but Sean Manaea, Frankie Montas, Clay Holmes, Griffin Canning, those are all guys that were signed in this offseason.
They're nothing too big, and then it was just, and it's not just that. So he has struggling. We all wait, when's this offense going to wake up? When's this offense going to wake up? And we're still waiting for that. And when they finally get to play better teams, and this is what you get. A shutout tonight, 5 hits. And yes, the offense will be great against Washington and Colorado and Miami, but it comes to getting runners in and facing great pitchers. They just don't come up, and it's a hard thing to watch. And there's gonna be they have to make moves because right now I don't think we have the confidence in them to be World Series, which we really which we probably thought a week and a half ago when they're killing the Rocks. Like, oh, look at this, it's another year, another big June streak, and here come big division games. Let's pull away from it. They win a few of these games, like 5 games up on the Phillies, and say they're right on our necks. And yes, we'll hope for it to do better. But right now, the confidence level isn't really up there. But last thing, just moving away from that, going to NHL, with the Panthers taking that cup. Do you think it's better for the NHL, growing as you've seen, viewership take up and interest in the league? Do you think it's better for them or worse to have kind of these mini dynasties take up? With Lightning winning 3, now the Hurricanes winning 2, and I'll listen to Stronsky. Thanks for taking my call. Have a great night.
No, I think it depends. Thanks for the call, Josh. It depends on the cities and the markets. The Panthers, they don't have the city or the market. It's not really going to move the needle. They win back-to-back Stanley Cups. That's cool for them and all, but I don't know how much that's really growing the NHL, the game of hockey, and making more people want to tune in. Back to the Mets. This is their longest losing streak since May 20th of last season. And if you remember correctly, right, the whole OMG Mets, the Grimace Mets, remember the Mets having a players-only meeting? That got them going in June of last year. And it seemed like this year they picked up where they left off from last year and just kept it rolling. It's baseball. Baseball is going to baseball. And with the Mets, they have had injuries, and they have now hit just the familiarity of damn, we go back to Atlanta and they haunt us. We thought we exercised our demons down there at the end of last season, beating them in the first game of that doubleheader. We did not exercise anything. That was last year. They were banged up last year, but here comes Spencer Strider. Clay Holmes versus Spencer Strider, and now Clay Holmes is getting up there as far as the innings that he has pitched. Clay Holmes had a little issue coming out of Denver with the altitude and pitching out there. What version of Clay Holmes are you going to get tonight against Spencer Strider with getting swept and losing another game in this, this streak? You're going to need some heroics. And Spencer Strider, we know who Spencer Strider is. He's going to go out there and shove, just like Sale did. 888-808-1019. So, I just think it is very interesting how just, the difference a week makes. Last week, a conversation on the Fan, and I see the WFAN socials leaning into it. I see Evan leaning into it. This whole thing was cooked up, and I was off. And I remember being there's just no reason to do this. And I got the text about who's the Yankees' biggest rival. And why would I say the Mets? It's not. A lot of Yankee fans and the actual Yankees don't look at the Mets as a rival at all. We're not in the same division. We're not in the same league. And figuratively speaking, we're not in the same league. So all the who's better, Mets or Yankees, and the back and forth between Evan and Sean, I guess that was cool for a day on the radio. But it has now created a bad omen because since then, Evan Roberts reports, the teams are a combined 0-11 since that discussion. And I remember listening to some of that day. We don't need to do this. There's so much more baseball in front of us. It doesn't always have to be Mets versus Yankees, but here we are. 888-808-1019. I want to play another clip. Or we got a break here. Can we play this clip and then break? Let's play this clip because I wanted to play this one before with Judge. We just got crossed a little bit. Judge asked, and listen, Judge is he went to the Jeterian school of answering the media. Judge is very smart with his answers, but this answer kind of made me say, maybe it's getting to Judgy a little bit. You can take a listen for yourself. Play that.
Continue on that path to not change anything.
I think for guys in this room, it's not hard because we got some great ball players in here who have been through good times, tough times. I've been through situations like this. I think you guys asked us the same questions last June when we were going through it. So, guys have been there. We just got to show up and not mope about it. If you mope, you pout, it's going to lead into the next game. I know everybody in this room is they're determined to go out there and win the next one, determined to go out there and win the next pitch. So that's all we can focus on.
Yeah, they did ask you the same questions last June. Don't you guys get tired of hearing the same type of thing in June? Aren't you getting tired now of them calling this now the Boone June swoon? I am. I am. I don't want to believe it. I want to believe that they're better than this. I do believe that this Yankees team is better than they were last year and that they can shake out of it. And all it takes is one more game. Maybe it's coming up today where they do hit multiple home runs. They do have a 5-run inning. They do put up double-digit hits, double-digit runs. I don't know where it's been at in these, last little couple series, but man, they need to figure it out fast. Keith McPherson on a fan. 888-808-1019. Call me up. We're talking Yanks. We're talking Mets, but I will start to sprinkle in some other things about the Lakers, about the Tampa Bay Rays, and about Love Island. I don't watch Love Island, but it keeps popping up on my timeline. We'll get into it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
In work, life, and imploding bullpens.
Okay, I'm back in the chat. Since Belly and Jazz homer today, Boone will give them both. Yeah, that's Katie. That's gonna be read on air. That's hilarious. Facts. I think he does feel uncomfortable. Like, that's the thing. He's a Yankee fan. He wants to win just as much as anybody, and then he fumbles the ball. Let's see. I see Amber's in here. Amber said, I missed it. Did we talk about Volpe sitting his tired ass out for a game here? Yeah, but they're not going to sit him in this stretch. While they're going bad, the only option to put there is Peraza. Montas sucks. Houston's back on top again. Let me check the standings. I would say that the Astros are they passed the Mariners a while ago. You're talking about they're up in the game. I know the Mariners were in first, but they're 5 games back as I'm looking at the standings. You're saying in the game today. Let me see. Oh, I see. No, they've been up in this game. They had a 7-run, 6 inning. Or was that yesterday? Oh, today is now the 19th. So no, top of the 9th, Astros over Athletics 9-2. Day game after night game lineup will be trash. Nah, no BS. I was saying when Boone lost to the Red Sox in the wild card, I would have been like, later, bro. Grinding. You know what I keep in the lining. Better stay inside when you see it like me shining. Grinding. There it is, Moose. Moose in Jamaica asked for grinding. So Double A producing. I say, yo, cue up that Clips grinding. I don't know how many freestyles I kicked to that beat back in the day. We used to hit the lunch table. Is that what the top comment is? Bro, we used to get kicked out of lunch. We used to get kicked out of lunch. Half of us didn't eat. And I used to hate, I remember a couple years I had 7-period lunch. I'm not eating that 7-period lunch. 7-period lunch, school's about to be over. Don't put me in 7B lunch. 7-period lunch and the second half of 7-period lunch. I'm strictly going, if I do even show up to lunch, I'm going there to just to hit the table. I see if somebody wanted to kick any raps. Grinding. Keith McPherson on the fan. Who else? 888-808-1019. We'll get back to the Yankee calls. I see we got some Mets calls now. The chat is great. Shout out to the live stream chat. Katie says, we'll start with KB. KB goes, day game after night game, so you know the lineup tomorrow is going to be trash. And then Katie says, since Belly and Jazz homer today, Boone will give them both Thursday off. Like, you got to cool those guys off. Those guys end the scoreless streak, so they got to get off tomorrow. Expect Dominguez in left, Trent Grisham in center, Judge in right, and Peraza will be at third, Volpe will be at short, and DJ will be at second. Martin is in Rockland on the fan. What's up, Martin? Good, hanging out, having fun, trying to, because it's not fun watching the Yankees for 3 hours every night. It's actually miserable. Yeah. Just play your best players and don't worry about rest. Thank you for the call, Martin. Play the best players and don't worry about scheduled rest. You know, this goes back to the last game coming out of Kansas City, where they only scored 1 run. But that was the game that they decided to sit a hot Aaron Judge that had homered in the 2 games before. And Judge has not been the same since. And Judge said to his skipper, hey, if I homer in the first 2 games, can I start on the 3rd one? Nah. This is a stretch of 16 games in a row. We're going to rest you there. And it's funny because that was the last time the Yankees had a lead until they took the lead on the belly bomb tonight. And that lead only lasted all of 6 minutes. Like, oh, man. Like, it went back. The Yankees hadn't had a lead in 51 innings since Pablo Reyes, rumbling, stumbling, bumbling, fell into home plate at Kauffman Stadium. And when Belly hit that bomb to make it 2-1, the Yankees had that lead for all of 6 minutes until Joe Adell, that he smoked that ball. Shout out to the TS, the Terror Squad. My boy Sean, I saw Sean clear on TV. The Terror Squad is like the Fresh Direct Terrors. And that first row, when you drop down into the Fresh Direct Terrors, that's where the gang like all chills. The Terror Squad is an off branch of the Bleacher Creatures. You'll understand what that. The Terror Squad is right above the visiting bullpen. That ball got smoked into the. But shout out to Yarby. Yarby tonight goes 5 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 Ks, and a walk. He did enough. Will Warren did enough. Clark Schmidt did more than enough. But all these MVPs and all-stars, and they're not clicking right now. They look like they need the all-star break. They look like something is up. I don't know. I don't know what it is. We'll see what the lineup looks like. I expect Rice won't be catching the day after. Rice probably won't be in the lineup. Stanton back to DH, and Goldie will be at first. And Ascara has been catching Rodon, so maybe Ascara will be the catcher, even though Ascara got in the game and caught tonight. Or maybe Wells. I'm probably Wells. It'll probably be Wells tomorrow. Today. It is today. It's June 19th. It's Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. Steve is in Holmdel, New Jersey on the Fan. Hello, Steve. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's because they won the series. That's what I tried. I don't know. I'm not resting my best player when he's on a tear. He's homering. He's trying to catch Cal Raleigh. I'm not sitting him down, especially if he's coming to me and saying, I want to play. I'm sure that was scheduled rest as well. Hey, hold on now. Stanton has come back and he's had 2 hits in back-to-back games. Let's sit him down. Yeah, they're worried, and I get it. They're worried about him potentially pulling a hamstring, a calf, and so sure. When I saw the lineup today, and Stanton was out, and DJ was out, and Ben Rice was behind the plate, I leaned into, well, they need to do something to shake this up to break out of it, and maybe this will work. The Dominguez leadoff thing didn't work. This also didn't work. Two solo shots, and you still lost. Yeah, it's expired for me. I'm done. I'm done as well. Yeah. A fourth outfielder. Never a leadoff hitter. Brutal. Might be, yeah, might be this year, might be coming up. He's 24 years old. He did kind of get on a little bit of a hot streak and hit some homers recently, but like it hasn't materialized for the guy. Thanks for the call, Steve. 888-808-1019. I mean, if I'm going to criticize Volpe, I'm also going to criticize Judge. In this stretch, these last 7 games, like when I say it's been brutal, Volpe in his last 7 games has 3 hits, 1 RBI, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. He's batting 115. On base percentage, 148. Okay, well, all right, stop piling on Volpe. So let's pile on Judge, right? Judge is also not beyond reproach. I said to my wife today, because my wife said, well, she could just tell. My wife is in the bed, about to go to sleep. My son is sleeping. The cat, everybody's set up. But Dada Keith is in the living room, like, bro, Trent Grisham. Really, I was like, take Fernando Cruz out. But anyway, when I'm about to leave, my wife's like, what's up? What's up with the Yankees? I was like, I don't know what's up with Judge. I don't know how Judge can be all world and then just be zoop. So Judge in the last 7 games, 2 hits, the homer off of Crochet. Had to get 1 off of Crochet after Crochet struck you out like 7 times in a row. Okay. 15 strikeouts. This is a guy that was batting around 400. Can you guess what his average has been in his last 7 games? 083. How? Mike, talk to me about the Mets. Mike is in Cortland on the fan. What's up, Mike? Good. How are you? Of course. Kenley Jansen has seen him multiple times. He threw him 95-mile-an-hour cutters right now. Kenley Jansen is not worried about Volpe taking him deep to tie the game or win the game. Thanks for the call, Mike. Yeah, they can change the lineup again. Soto was batting second. Now they'll stick Nimmo there. On a night like tonight, you had Marte there. Marte got on base. Lindor did nothing in front of him. Soto did nothing behind him. Both of them were 0 for 4. Lindor struck out twice. Alonso was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. There was nothing they could do with Chris Sale. The end. I mean, when you talk about last year's team was just different. Like, you had Jose Iglesias, you had Harrison Bader. You know, they had a terrible start, but then they went on an incredible run. This team there's no incredible run. This team is stacked. This team got Juan Soto, and you went to get Juan Soto as the piece to put you over the hump to beat the Dodgers, right? Like, you go get one of the best players in the game, you pay him all of that money, you give him a suite, you give his mom a clothing allowance, you give his family a security detail, the Supreme Court of Soto. You do all of that to bring this guy here because you want him to be a difference maker, like a Brad Marchand difference maker. And we'll see if that happens. You know, as I'm looking at the timeline, and the Padres are battling the Dodgers. Xander Bogaerts ties it up in the 9th in LA. And, you know, the Dodgers will tell you that last year they weren't worried about the Yankees. They weren't worried about the Mets. They were worried about the Padres. And not for nothing, more news out of LA. Mark Walter, who is an owner of the Dodgers, the LA Sparks, and Cadillac's Formula One team, Jeannie Buss and the Buss family are selling the Lakers to Mark Walter, a majority stake of the LA Lakers. They've owned the team since the 70s. The money that these people have and what these people are able to do. I saw this today and I'm like, what? The rich only get richer. $10 billion deal. And the Dodgers, they'll be there again, and they have their own injuries and things going on right now. But for the Mets, and you know what Mike also said, you add Juan Soto in his prime to a team that got to the NLCS. You add Juan Soto in his prime to be able to get back to the NLCS and beat the Dodgers and get to the World Series. The Mets are expected to be a World Series contending team. Can they still? Absolutely. Is this only just a bad stretch? Hell yeah, it'll pass. Maybe they do things like change the lineup. Maybe they get guys back, right? And they will get guys back. It's not a maybe. It's just it's not an if. It's a when. When will they get guys back? You know, Mark Vientos, Frankie Montas, Sean Manaea, Brooks Raley is coming back at some point. And obviously guys that just went out like Kodai Senga and Tyler McGill will come back. Jesse Winker, Jose Siri at some point will come back. And then you have the trade deadline. And you have a president of baseball operations who I think will work magic at the trade deadline. This too shall pass for the Mets too, but it sucks because it's the Braves. It's the Braves who are some games under 500. It's the Braves who started off this season terribly, where you just you laughed at the Braves at the start of the season and, you know, figured they played themselves out of it. But then they remind you, no, we are who we are down here. And when we see that blue and orange down here, we don't fear y'all. Even if you got Juan Soto, even if Juan Soto does homer to open the game up, we're going to fight back. We'll beat you in 10 innings. And then the next day we got Chris Sale going. And you won't do anything against Chris Sale. Complete game shutout. Was an inning away. I still don't get over that. I was watching that live, and I'm like, let him go. What are you preserving him for? Your October? Like, I guess Brian Snicker thinks he's now, oh, well, we beat the Mets. We got a shot here. We're not trading Chris Sale. You should. Let him finish the job. Chris Sale is an all-timer. One of the best in this generation. Let him finish the job. 116 pitches. They bring Iglesias in to get the last out. I'm like, I was so anti-combat. Let him finish the deal. What did he say? If you give up a hit, I don't know. Nimmo got the head off him. I was like, that was stupid. What a waste of time. 888-808-1019. So yeah, I mentioned the Lakers being sold to a guy that's already an owner of the Dodgers. And also now it's out there about the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays, who they're lurking in the background, ready to jump the New York Yankees, and tonight they played a stupid ass game against the Baltimore Orioles. If you saw any of the highlights or you saw how that game went, let me pull up that box score. I was looking at some of the highlights. I'm like, Baltimore can't do anything right. They scored 8 runs, but they gave up 12. And they kicked the ball around in the infield, in the outfield, and ultimately the Rays won. So the Orioles were up 8-0 in the second inning. And they let Tampa come back and score 3 in the third, 4 in the fifth, 4 in the seventh, chip away, and then just run away with it. And Tampa is second in the AL East on the Yankees' heels. And I just think it would be an absolute joke for at any point the Yankees to be behind them in the standings because you're renting your spring training facility that you just revamped to these guys. These guys were homeless. You let them take your spot. And there is a theory out there that it's going to get super hot down there and it rains down there and that Tampa will struggle as we get into July and August. And there's some, real weather issues playing at the boss, George M. Steinbrenner Field. But yeah, you guys always want to bring George's name up. You guys want to talk about how George feels about this losing streak and the scoreless streak. Imagine George looking at George M. Steinbrenner Field, the home of the Tampa Bay Rays right now. And then, I don't know, if the Yankees keep playing like this and the Rays keep playing like they're playing, before you know it, the Rays are at the top of the standings and the Yankees are looking up to them. That makes no sense. The Yankees had a 7-game lead on them. And I told you, don't look too far down the line here. But, July is going to be tough. July starts off with the Blue Jays, who I already took a call tonight. Someone told me the Blue Jays are better than the Yankees. I'll believe it when I see it. And then the Subway Series, take 2 in Queens. The Mariners are no slouch either. The Mariners were in first place. The Astros are ahead of them in the West now, but the Mariners are a pretty decent team. They've got some players over there. And I think the Mariners, after they had lost to, I think they lost the series to the Red Sox. Now, they lost that first game, but then they bounced back and smacked the Red Sox. But looking at the Yankees schedule in June, if they don't correct this right now, you got to face the Cubs at home. Then you have the All-Star break, and the All-Star game is in Atlanta, and then you play 3 in Atlanta. Then you go to Toronto again, and then you got to go to Philly, and then you got 4 at home against Tampa Bay. Where this is going to get thick. This is going to get really tight, and if the Yankees don't shake this off, it's going to be an interesting June, a boom, June swoon into July. And yeah, we always joke and say that Tampa Bay Rays are a poverty franchise, and we've made jokes about them not having a ballpark and playing in the Yankees ballpark. Well, yeah, the Rays owner Stu Sternberg is closing in on a $1.7 billion deal to sell the franchise to a home developer, Patrick Zalupski. I don't know who these guys are. Jacksonville. He should take the team to Jacksonville. I got family down in Duval. Keep McPherson on the fan. I got an hour left. When we come back, we're going to talk about Love Island. I've never watched it, but Tommy DeVito does. Jackson Dart does. Garrett Wilson does. Xavier Gibson, I guess, does. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. All right, I sent you audio of Tommy DeVito talking about Love Island that I'm gonna queue up for this next segment to pass some time. Amber, did they say who's doing Home Run Derby X? Like what players are coming out there? I think when I was in London, they did it out there, and I mean, it doesn't do anything for me. I've watched it a little bit, but I guess it's cool when like Nick Swisher does it or somebody like that.
Good morning at 102. I'm Dexter Henry. Both the Mets and Yankees look to end losing streaks on Wednesday night, but neither New York ball club got the job done. Truist Park continues to be a house of horrors for the Mets, whose losing streak is now a season-high 5 games as they were blanked by the Braves 5-0. The Metropolitans are now 18-19 on the road this season. They've lost 25 of their past 35 games against the Braves, dating back to the 2022 season. At the stadium, Jazz Chisholm Jr. snapped the Yankees out of their offensive funk. The Bronx Bombers hadn't scored a run in 30 innings until the bottom of the second, when Chisholm's solo homer tied the game at 1. Cody Bellinger gave the Yanks a 2-1 lead with a solo homer of his own to right field in the bottom of the fourth. But the Pinstripes couldn't hold on as they lost their 6th consecutive game, and they were edged by the Angels 4-2. The Giants, they concluded their mandatory minicamp on Wednesday, wrapping up their 9-week offseason workout program. Head coach Brian Daboll hopes habits from minicamp carry over to next month. Big Blue will officially open their training camp on July 22nd. With sports updates at the top of every hour, I'm Dexter Henry. All right. Yep.
On the fan in New York, a little bit after 1 a.m. Keith McPherson on the fan. You know that, though. Let's bring it home. We got 50 minutes, and we can't keep moping around and walking around work like a bunch of losers. Shout out to BT. Unkillable podcast going live at Fanatics Fest. Also, I will be going live at 4 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Live from Fanatics Fest. I guarantee you we turn it up in there. I cannot wait. It's fun. I don't get into many other things outside of sports. So for me, that is like a sports wonderland. I'll be there Friday, and then I'm going to go to the game. And then Saturday, I'm hosting my show there live. I'm going to be there the whole day. Saturday, Sunday, I'll see you there. If you haven't bought tickets, buy tickets. It's worth it. I'm telling you. It's worth it just to come in there with your phone. The amount of celebrities, athletes, people that you're going to see, I'm telling you, Fanatics Fest, it's like that. It's worth it. But yeah, as I say that I don't do anything besides watch sports, I don't watch TV. So I Googled, I'm like, what is Love Island? It's an American TV series. It's a dating reality show. I'm guessing they go to an island looking for love. And you know what? I don't know when I'll get around to watching it. I don't know if I'll have time. I'll be hosting shows this weekend and sleeping when I don't have to host shows at night. I know my wife probably watches stuff like this. You know, maybe I'll have to run it because it kept popping up on my timeline. You know where it first popped up? Jalen Brunson had a mysterious tweet out there. He said, I'm genuinely confused. I said, wait, hold on. Okay. We've been waiting. You know, we got the roommates pod, but we've been waiting to hear from Brunson, right? Rumors about his dad and the team and all this other stuff. Who's going to be the next head coach? At 10:27 p.m., 2 nights ago, he tweeted, I'm genuinely confused. And then he had to double back 9 minutes later, quote tweet and say, damn, my bad, y'all. I was talking about Love Island. Because people started running with that. Oh, is this about Tibbs? Is this about the next coach? Is this about your dad? What is this about? People on Twitter, Grok, what is he confused about? So I'm like, okay, Love Island. That's the first time it came up. Then, following the Jets, the Jets, Garrett Wilson was talking about bro looked just like Ace from Love Island. And he pulls up on his fellow receiver, Xavier Gibson from the Jets. He said he looks just like Ace from Love Island. And then I guess the Jets play into it on social media. And they ask Jermaine Johnson. They go around with a picture of this guy, Ace, and they see if, you know, his teammates think that he looks like Xavier Gibson. Then they put the side-by-side together. I'm like, I see the resemblance. I never watched the show. And now, this has also hit the New York Giants. Let's hear Tommy Cutlets, Tommy DeVito talking about him and Jackson Dart and Love Island. Audio's coming. Oh, I thought I sent that audio. My bad. Well, we have audio coming I didn't hit send on the email, but we have audio coming. Check the email now of Tommy DeVito talking about, and I give Tommy DeVito a ton of credit. He is now 4th string, but he talked about today, like, being with the Giants and like this is where he wants to be and he understands the situation he's in, but hey, who knows? Injuries, some other things go down. Maybe they don't want to throw Jackson Dart in there. Maybe you're seeing Tommy Cutlets again in year 3. Okay, now here is Tommy Cutlets in his media availability today. And this went viral I saw NFL posted on Instagram. I saw CBS posted on Instagram. I saw the Giants posted. Tommy DeVito talking about him and Jackson Dart watching Love Island.
Me and Jackson might go on Love Island. We talked about it. So you really don't know what's about to happen. We have. I can't say we do it every night, but from time to time, we get off there. Yeah, we watch it. We talk about it.
So the QB room is bonding over Love Island on an off day here and there. They talk about, hey, did you see what happened on Love Island? I guess you guys got to watch Love Island. 888-808-1019. Back to, like, you know, complaining about the Yankees and the Mets and everything else. Just had to throw that in there. I don't know if anybody else picked up on that. I don't know if anybody watches the show, even in the chat. I'm like, hey, you guys watch Love Island? People are like, no, I don't watch that. Me either. But these athletes do. I guess they're looking for love. I would love to love the Yankees again. Steve is in Freehold on the Fan. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Keith, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Been better, right? We've all been better here with these Yankees, right? So I guess my first question to you would be, it seems to be like there's a trend here with the Yankees. Every year they have this June swoon, as you're calling it, the slide. Last year they were 40-19 beginning of the year, April and May. And then in June and July, they were 25-26, one game under 500. So I wanted to talk about Boone. Forget all the days off and the silly stuff that he does with that. Why does this guy get a pass? I don't even understand how he's our manager. I mean, you have a guy like Don Mattingly, the quintessential Yankee, just sitting out there. And nobody is even talking to this guy about coming here to be our manager. I mean, Aaron Boone, outside of that big home run that he hit, what has he really done in his career? He's a 260 hitter back when 260 was.
It's not about what he did in his career and what he did at the plate. It's about working with Brian Cashman and the New York Yankees. They hand selected Aaron Boone. Where else did Aaron Boone manage? Nowhere. Like,
maybe there's a reason for that.
No, there's definitely a reason for it. But thank you for that topic and call, Steve. 888-808-1019. Don Mattingly gets brought up every time we question Aaron Boone. He's 65 years old, and we know he has managerial experience. We also know he's a beloved Yankee. He managed the Miami Marlins. He managed the Dodgers. He never even he was a bench coach with the Toronto Blue Jays. But, like, is 64-year-old Don Mattingly going to work with Brian Cashman the way Brian Cashman wants his manager to work with him? I highly doubt it. I don't think so. Aaron Boone came out of the ESPN TV booth into the Yankees job after they told Joe Girardi that'll be all. Joe Girardi's name just came up as Tom Thibodeau's name was on WFAN for the last 2 weeks because people were saying, hey, Joe Girardi got to Game 7 of the ALCS, had a ring, and the Yankees told him, that'll be all. We'll take it from here. We don't know who we're going to hire after you, but that's all for you. You won't lead us into the future. We need a different voice. And they decided that Aaron Boone would be that voice after interviewing him. And this is what I said the other night. Like, I think Aaron Boone is a good manager. I don't think he's a great manager. I think he gets outmanaged. I think there are other managers that see him and they play chess better than him. But I said that he's a nice guy. He's a good guy. He's the right manager for these young Yankees. I think he'll be the manager of the Yankees as long as Judge is here. I think Judge is going to co-sign him. I think that he understands the Yankee way, being a Yankee. He also understands the Yankee brass, the Yankee front office, and what they're trying to do, whether it's analytics, whether it's scheduled rest, whether it is not calling guys out in front of the media because we got to protect our guys and we don't want guys to go in the tank. I don't know. Right now, we need the opposite. Let them go in the tank. Call them out. These guys can't freaking lay a bunt down. Guys can't make routine plays, can't field ground balls, can't make simple throws. Like, you can't do that, though. So when we go back in time, just remember, Aaron Boone has no other managerial experience with any other Major League Baseball team. He was hand-selected by the New York Yankees. He has been given 2 contract extensions without winning a World Series because he is doing the job that they want him to do. He might not be doing the job that you want him to do as a fan. And all these little things that pop up that we say fall under the manager, like, they're not going to get him fired, though. And nobody's getting fired in June. Well, not in New York. Like, the Orioles fired their manager. And, like, even a couple years back when Dylan Lawson got fired, we thought that was crazy. They fired the hitting coach in July. They fired Dylan Lawson, and then they brought in the mayor. I always forget his name. He's an Aaron Boone guy. Sean Casey. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we can complain about Boone, and going back to your call, why does Boone get a pass? He does it. The fans have been calling out Boone, but also, like, Boone gets a lot of flack for everything. Boone doesn't play. Boone can't make Volpe field that ball and make the throw and turn that double play. Boone can't make Trent Grisham put the bunt down. He can take the bunt off, but it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So he is the manager of these modern-day New York Yankees. If they never win, that's how he'll be remembered. There was just an article in ESPN about Anthony Rizzo, who never won anything as a Yankee, talking to Judge about teaching these young guys the Yankee way. Rizzo won a World Series with the Cubs. He didn't win one with the Yankees. Like, what is he teaching the young guys about the Yankee way? They need the older guys to do that. I don't know. I'm in this place with the Yankees where I know they're better than this. I know this will pass. I'm not mad at Boone, but I understand if you are. And Judge is the captain. He's not a rah-rah, get in your face kind of guy, but they need something like that now. They need somebody to shake up that clubhouse. They need a trade or something to shake up that room because this is ridiculous. This stretch of baseball it's so ridiculous for them to play like this after having so many games of a ridiculous offensive output, leading the league, having the highest run differential, then to stink like this, it's crazy. Bob is in Cooport on the Fan.
Well, what up, Keith?
What's up, Bob?
How you doing?
Good.
Do you think there's something going on with the Yankees coaching staff where there's just too much of an emphasis on the defense, get Volpe straight, get every double play turn, and just hitting is not being talked about as much?
No, hell no. I think, definitely they're probably talking about, they're having their same hitting meetings, and then things like turning double plays are routine. They're elementary.
So then why are people saying fire Boone? Maybe fire James Roushing?
Nah, they're not going to fire him. They're not going to fire a hitting coach. They're not going to fire Boone. They're not going to fire Brad Austin. They're not going to fire anybody. They're just going to
I don't think they should ever fire Boone. I think Boone's the greatest manager. He's what the Yankees need.
Okay, go on. Elaborate on that.
He takes a team that he gets, does the best with it. The hitting coach is someone who has to make the people who he's dealing with hit. If you're not having hitting, maybe it's on the hitting coach.
Yeah, but they were hitting. And when they were hitting and they were hitting home runs and scoring double-digit, having double-digit games and 5-run innings, nobody was talking about firing James. Now that they're struggling, we got to fire the hitting coach. It's on James Rawson. They're in a slump. Baseball players slump. They're slumping together. Judge is in a terrible slump. He was batting .400. Now he's batting .083.
Nah, I think it's more than that.
It's a bunch of things, Bob. Good night. 888-808-1019. Thanks for the call. But they're not firing anybody. And you can't say in one breath Boone is the right manager, but they should fire James Rawson. And then when I counter and say, well, when they were having all the success and breaking records and set the record for home runs in a game, and they had all these offensive outputs that were ridiculous, multiple nobody. You can't do that. And earlier I was talking about this isn't the final exam. We are a third of the way through the school year, and this is a bad stretch. But you don't overreact to the bad stretch. We do as fans, I guess. But the Yankees would be crazy to fire any of their coaching staff over this. But when I say shake up the room, a trade, maybe bring somebody in, maybe send somebody out. And I don't think yelling hurts. I don't think, when I listened to the Roommates podcast and Jalen Brunson was talking about, I really love my teammates. I enjoy my teammates. People see one clip of us yelling on the bench, but that's in the moment. We're trying to figure some things out. I want to see more of that. I want to see the Yankees yelling at each other in the moment, trying to figure some stuff out. I will give credit to Rizzo because there's a clip circling around on Yankees Twitter of him checking Kyle Higashioka a couple seasons ago. Sometimes guys got to get checked, man. Sometimes guys got to be told, wake up, lock in, dial in. This is serious. We're trying to get back to the World Series and win it. And the math is the same math. You lose these games now and you come up short. I talk about not having home field advantage over the Dodgers. And now there's a stat out there that the Yankees in the postseason, when they have home field advantage, they win those series. When they don't have home field advantage, they lose. So if I know that information, I am trying to win as many games as I can. I'm not dropping these games. I'm not letting these little rinky-dink, stupid-ass games 3-2, 1-0, to the Angels. I can't lose these games. I'm freaking out in the dugout. I'm yelling at somebody. I'm holding somebody accountable before those 27 outs pass because we need these games. Because at the end of the year, when you come up short, whether it is the 2021 season where they came up just a little bit short of having home field advantage in the wild card game, then they end up going to Fenway and those balls that hit the green monster that would have been out in Yankee Stadium, that's the difference. The math is the same. At the end of the year, you need these games. Why I'm upset right now is you had the largest lead in first place out of anybody in baseball. And look how quickly you squandered it. You had a 7.5 game lead over the Rays. Now, every day we're well, hopefully they lose. 888-808-1019. Jonathan is out in L.A., my guy in Los Angeles. How you feeling? I see the Dodgers come back and win with Will Smith. So
Yeah, man. That's bro. That's one of the reasons I was calling, man. So I come into, first thing I do, coming home from work, bro. Turn on, yes, watch the game, right? Bro, I'm so used to this team not hitting and just doing stupid little plays that eventually they're going to lead them to a loss. And then, it's late night already. I have no choice. I'm just like you, bro. I don't really watch TV, and if I do, I watch sports. I tune in into the Padres game. They tied it up. Bro, this Dodgers team, bro, is so unstoppable, man. You're watching a team like the Yankees not hitting, and then there's other teams just hitting singles, doubles, home runs.
They find a way, especially in their building. The Yankees are losing like this in Yankee Stadium. It's pitiful.
Yeah, and they just keep on. They look really strong, man, but whatever, man. It's baseball. We're in June. But, yeah, back to the Yankees, man. And you know what? Yeah, the Yankees are not going to get rid of Boone because Boone, they need someone that's never going to talk down to their players, someone that's all analytical, bro. But I'm getting fed up already with those post interviews that he doesn't says something. You know what? Oh, well, he swung at it pretty good. He was close to hitting the ball, but next time he'll get it. Oh, stop!
We had some better bats. It looked a little bit better tonight.
Oh my goodness, bro. Keith, I have one question, bro. So, are you planning on going to the Subway Series versus the Mets at Citi Field?
I don't know. I got proposed to do like a pregame tailgate at Citi Field, and I kind of passed on.
Yeah.
Like the Mets are just mad corny.
All right. Really quick.
I'd rather not. I've gone to the Subway Series the last few years, and I'm like, I don't know. It's a 3-game set. I might end up at one of the games, but like the Mets, it's just not for me, bro. I'm not that kind of guy, yo. There's
all right, because we going to NY for a judges camp, like I was told you before. But I was trying to squeeze in that little Sunday morning game, and I was like, let me call Keith. Do you recommend me to take Sebastian to the game, or should I just go to the camp and take my ass back to the state?
Have you guys ever been to Citi Field?
No, never.
No, yeah, you should go. Citi Field it's a nice ballpark. And like some Met fans online are complete losers and mad annoying, but like every Met fan that I've run into at Citi Field and even Yankee Stadium, Met fans are nice. They're nice people. Like they're compared to Yankee fans who are just like brash and arrogant and like mean to strangers. Like the Met fans that I have met are super nice and like they're cool people. The people that you see on Twitter and Instagram do not represent the like real life. They couldn't be more opposite. The Met fans that have shook my hand and that have asked me for pictures and have come up to say, "Oh, hey, are you Keith?" Like they're solid people. So yeah, you'll have a good time. You'll have a good time if you go. It's a holiday weekend. It'll definitely be a family vibe. There'll be some kids there, and you'll run into some nice Mets fans at the game. They're not like the people online that hide behind Juan Soto and Pete Alonso's picture.
Say less, brother. Citi Field it is, man. My guy, 1.5 game lead, man. Tomorrow's the new day. Tomorrow we gotta win, brother. Good night, my guy. Great show as always.
Thanks for the call, but I'm not confident with Rodon on the mound and the way these guys have been hitting, and I'm not. They could get easily swept. And I already said it that Omen is out there from Stan when Stan was nowhere near returning, telling him we don't get swept at home, bro. What are you talking about? I watched Ellie De La Cruz last year hit a homer to the bullpen, also hit a triple. And then the Reds went on to sweep the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, where I wasn't there. I dipped out last 4th of July. But I watched on TV, and I think right going into the 4th of July weekend, we had the fireworks. And Yankee fans had to watch the fireworks go up in the air after being swept by the Cincinnati Reds. We don't get swept at home. Yes, we do. I've seen the Yankees get swept at home multiple times. And now they're facing being swept in a 4-game set. If this was a 3-game set, they're done. They're cooked. They're facing being swept in a 4-game set by the 500 Anaheim Angels, who also swept the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium. Baseball is crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not confident that Rodon is the stopper against these Anaheim Angels. I'm not confident that in a day game, a quick turnaround, that these guys just hop out of bed and turn their swag on. I haven't seen it. Man. They got to break out of it. Maybe a day game in the sun will do it. You know, the bright Yankee Stadium, and it's going to be hot as hell. Maybe that'll do it, but I'm scared. I'm scared of a sweep. Getting swept by the Angels with Rodon on the mound, and it's going to be 85 degrees. And then the Orioles come to town, and they lost the series to the Orioles in Camden Yards. The Orioles are scoring runs as of lately. And the Orioles are looking at the Yankees like, yeah, we beat y'all in our ballpark. We'll come up there for this weekend, and we swept the Angels. So if the Angels sweep y'all, that's what I'm saying. It's just it's compounded. It is worrisome. It is worrisome. John is in Bayonne next on the Fan. Tell me something, John.
Oh, Keith, man, I had a good day today talking to Sal, man. I think you saw Juan Soto's agent. I mean, he made all kinds of excuses with this.
Insane. How? How do you make up for this guy's base running gas? How do you talk about you just need him to hit with his contract? Like, no way. You're making that much money. Do not run into outs.
Sal, I mean, Keith, the thing with Sal was he blamed Alvarez for the loss instead of Soto. And listen, I swear to God, I nearly laughed when he made this excuse. You know, he should have texted him. Instead of Soto saying, well, I needed the umpire to make the right call, but it was late. But he had to eat his words because when it came down to the first baseman coach was telling him, get back, get back. Okay, so Sal goes, well, who got the authorization? I said, Sal, who seen the ball catch? Okay? The first
Soto was in no man's land. He was way too far away from the bat. Like, there's no way to make up for it or take up for it.
Okay, so now, all of a sudden he said, well, there was a card that, what's his name, Acuna was using to do defense. It was white. I said, Sal, the ball is white, but it's round, and if he doesn't catch it, it drops down to the ground. Oh, he lost it. My
thing, too, John, is Juan Soto lacks accountability and the ability to just, in the media, say it was me. Lindor tonight, Lindor put it on himself. Lindor's quote tonight, like Juan Soto needs to learn from Lindor. Lindor tonight literally said, at the end of the day, it's tough to win games when your leadoff guy is not getting on base. He's the leadoff guy. Juan Soto is blaming the umpires in the postgame saying, like, they got to let us know. No, you got to do your job. You're on the field. You have eyes. As soon as Ronald Acuna comes down with that ball, I don't know. He got doubled up, and that was a series of unfortunate events that led to the Mets blowing that game and then eventually losing the series against Chris Sale and almost a complete game shutout last night.
Well, Keith, the best was Sal goes going, but he won. He hit the home run. You're blaming him for the game loss? I said, Sal, yes. Okay, the reason why is he could go 3 for 3 and hit 20 home runs, but if there's a L, that means loss. And
Juan Soto has hit a bunch of meaningless home runs this year. He's homered in a few losses this year. He doesn't have game-winning home runs.
Game shut out last night.
Thanks for the call, John. Yeah, I caught some of that. I don't know, bro. I wake up and it's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And not for nothing, I'm blessed. I'm getting super busy. People are reaching out to me and asking me to have calls and meetings and do things. And I'm kind of just growing in myself and this role. And like I say, I'm blessed. So, like, I'm not always listening to WFA, and I can't. And I try to catch up, but I'm also a hip hop head, bro. I'm listening to some beats and I'm vibing, and I'm in the gym. I know y'all see me on the live stream, and in the gym, I don't want to hear about soda. In the gym, I want to hear some old school hip hop. In the gym, I want to hear something that I'm gonna get right. So no, but I did catch some of that, and I think I was on the Twitch screen, the Twitch live stream, and I put in the chat, Soto can do no wrong. How you taking up for a guy like? I expected Sal to get after him because, honestly, Sal was one of the first people saying, Juan Soto, pick it up. Hello, where is it? Now Juan Soto picks it up a little bit at the plate and he could do no wrong. No. He got picked off on the base pass. So did Alonso. And then he ran into a double play, and then they started unraveling. And it's not like we don't know this about Juan Soto. He's not good at running the bases. And that's something that Yankee fans were trying to say when Mets fans were flexing that they signed him. We're like, yo, we watched him. I don't know how many times last year, at least 4 times that I could probably recall, Juan Soto running into an out at second and me being like, what are you doing? Judge is coming up. Stay put. What are you doing, bro? Use your noggin. 888-808-1019. I got a Yankees organization, Volpe, Mets, Yankees losing. I got a few calls to take. And so we got to take this break now so that I can come back and have enough time to give you guys your time to express yourself, get your point across. And then before you know it, they're going to hit that music on me and I got to go home. 888-808-1019. Keep McPherson on the fan. I'll be right back.
Yankees wrap up their 4-game series with the Angels. 105 this afternoon.
Yo, I have this one TikTok of Trevor Bauer, and I say that the hold on, I don't know if you guys can hear me. I have this one TikTok of Trevor Bauer, or me talking about Trevor Bauer, where I'm like, I don't know why he has so many fans. I don't know why you dudes are always caping for him. I said the New York Giants will sign Colin Kaepernick before the New York Yankees sign Trevor Bauer. He's not good. And like what we know about him, like they wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. I kid you not. It's got almost 200 comments. Every day somebody is writing on there like defending Trevor Bauer, and I don't understand it. I don't understand how he has so many fanboys. I don't understand how so many people cape for Trevor Bauer. We get it on WFA, and I just heard Evan and Tiki like 2 days ago. Someone's like, well, you think the Yankees will sign Trevor Bauer? Like, the Trevor Bauer glazing is amazing. I'm going to hit some push-ups real quick, and then I'll get back to the chat. Oh. Oh. Summer bot activated though. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you. Boy Dad, no dad bod. Mixtape coming soon. The way the Yankees are playing, they should not be minus 260 favorites against anyone outside of the Rockies. That's gambling for you, though. You know how many people probably loaded up bets today thinking the Yankees are going to win? I'm Mets fan. Aaron Judge is a big. Watch your mouth. Should the Nets trade up for Ace Bailey? No. It depends. What would they be giving up? I like the kid. I like the Rutgers ties, the locals ties. Yeah, Volpe's taking his lashes tonight. Swisher, Manny Ramirez, Andrew Jones. That's pretty good. For a place that doesn't have a lot of baseball, to get those guys out there, that's pretty good. KB, appreciate you, bro. The bullpen for Trevor Bauer? Nah. Nope. They won't do it. They won't do it. No shot. And I get it. Like, I understand. Trevor Bauer isn't charged with, whatever. Like, he won in court, but still the charges were despicable.
Okay. No Diddy. Keep McPherson on the fan. 888-808-1019. Get those last calls in. Last call for calls on the Yankees, on the Mets. Going once, going twice. I'm out of here in like 18 minutes, man. I just want to win. I want to win. I'm a sore loser. I've always been. From a kid to a grown man. It bothers me. It stays with me. Even when I'm not playing, I can't affect the game. Let's see. The lone silencer in the chat says, the way the Yankees are playing, they should not be minus 260 favorites against anyone outside of the Rockies. And I'm like, well, you know how many people probably bet on, and that's why I'm done betting too. I think this is the longest stretch that I haven't placed a bet. I think I'm out till football, but I think I'm out. I think I'm going to actually, right now, I'm going to physically go and delete the app. I was wondering why I had a couple extra dollars too. Because with the Yankees hitting this Boone June swoon, I'm not betting. I'm not gambling. I'm out. And I think the last bet I'm out. I just deleted the app. I'm not betting, and it's good. But what I'm saying is, people probably loaded up bets last night on, okay, this is the Yankees, right? I'm betting Judge to homer. I'm going to bet Paul Goldschmidt 3 total bases. I'm going to bet Trent Grisham to homer. Okay, maybe you cash if you bet on Jazz first homer, or if you bet on Belly to homer, or if you somehow parlayed, show me the ticket, post the ticket, Jazz and Belly to homer. But you know what blew your parlay? Yankees run line. You know what blew your parlay? Yankees to win, Yankees money line. And they're going to break out at some point, but I got no faith right now. I think this can go on for a little bit. Even tonight, they broke the scoreless streak, but then they lost the game. They didn't end the losing streak. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. It's baseball. We know that. We've seen this with them before. We know that. But, like, as much as we keep saying we've seen this before, like, that is a problem. That is also a problem that we can predict this every year. Let's go to Sheepshead Bay and talk to Phil next. What's up, Phil? You're on the fan.
Hi, good. Isn't Chris? Listen, Chris, Frankie Montes, he had all this time to prepare, and they're hitting against him like with batting practice. Paul Blackburn, whatever the guy's name was, they're not major league ball players. They spent $34 million. I think Steve Cohen lost his mind on Frankie Montes, knowing what he did, and they said they saw something in his delivery or whatever it was, and he's not going to be their savior, believe me.
Yeah, I don't think so. Thanks for the call, Bill. Chris is coming up next. Keith McPherson on the fan. Frankie Montas, he's trash. He wasn't worth anything that the Yankees paid him. And when I saw the Mets sign him, I did think, like, okay, maybe the pitching lab helps. I also thought Boris Client. Like, I remember the Yankees passing on bringing Frankie Montas back. Let's go even further back. I always give Susan Waldman credit because Susan Waldman keeps her eye on the entire league. And Susan Waldman questioned the trade for Frankie Montas. What it was a fallback plan. They did not get Luis Castillo, maybe because they didn't want to give up Anthony Volpe. And so they needed another starting pitcher, and they got Frankie Montas. And I remember Susan talking about he's been injured. He's got, I think, a shoulder injury or an elbow injury and whatever. Frankie the Yankee was not good. And now he has not been good in the minor league. in Double A or Triple A in the minor leagues for the Mets. And the Mets got to activate him. They got to bring him up at some point. They did pay him. And I don't know what he's going to be at the major league level. He might be bad. I don't know. But that's not for, we'll see. Who knows? He might be spectacular. Jeremy Hefner in the pitching lab, they might figure it out with Frankie Montas. They got money to blow. What's it, a 2-year deal with Frankie Montas? They got time. Frankie Montas. Like people pronounce his name Montas. It's Montas. I pronounce it Montas. He's asked 2-year, $34 million contract. Yeah, they got to figure it out with him. The Mets got to figure it out with him. Let's go to Sal in Wayne, New Jersey on the Fan. What's up, Sal?
Hey, Keith, pleasure to talk to you. Before I get to my Mets point, I mean, this Yankee Met fan nonsense is crazy. It's just like it doesn't matter what either team does as long as the other team loses. I mean, even you started from tonight. Good news as the Yankees lost, but the good news the Mets lost.
Leaning in. Hell yeah.
They're not in the same division. I had 29. I heard the Yankees. They lost. They didn't score for 29 innings, but yeah, how did the Mets do? Who cares? Tonight the Mets got shut out, but at least the Yankees lost. Who cares? They're not in the same division. They don't affect each other. It's just it's frustrating. But anyway,
it's WFAN.
Back to my Mets point. This is regarding 2 nights ago, Game 1 against Atlanta. Why Buck Showalter was one of the top managers and was one of the top managers. He put his best pitchers in at the most important time. It didn't matter where it was Edwin Diaz pitched. I find it hard, and Reeve Garrett has been great, but in that 8th inning with 2 guys on and the top of the order coming up, that to me says my best pitcher needs to be in the game. Okay, and that Diaz should have been in the game then. Then you put him in the 9th inning in a tie game against the bottom of the order, which is great. He got through the bottom of the order. And then the 10th inning, you take him out and the top of the order up again with a runner on second base. Now, he went through a stretch where he went through 30 straight where he didn't allow a hit, 33 out of 34, whatever it was. Why is he not pitching in the 10th inning against the top of the order, the big guys, and you're relying on Brazoban and all these other guys that want to come in when your best pitcher is the guy should be out there in that spot?
Manfred's man on second. They don't want to pitch him with that runner on second.
I hate that. I mean, but if you wanted to make a big deal, like he went 30 straight batters without allowing a hit, fantastic. Put him in the 10th inning with a runner on second base where, a hit's going to win the game. And you don't want to allow that hit.
Well, if you pitch, but what if you do it the other way? You pitch Brazoban in the 9th, then you don't end up getting to the 10th inning.
Well, but Brazoban's now pitching against the bottom 3, bottom 4 of the order that have done nothing the whole game anyway. I just feel it should have been different because knowing today that who we had starting against Chris Sale, this was like you knew it was not going to go well. Could we have won the game? Sure. But you knew Chris Sale is not going to lose that game, against the guy who shouldn't be starting. So, I mean, and then going into the bottom of the 9th or the 10th inning, top of the 10th inning, I mean, Garrett Young is batting 140. Like, if you're not up there to bunt, I mean, why is he here? And I understand Beatty was hurt. That's why he couldn't hit.
Yeah.
It's just, it was just like, I would have put in anybody else.
Marte.
It's just a series of like Mendoza has a plan and wants to do everything by the book in a certain way, and he doesn't, go off that script.
Like
and I don't say that a lot about Aaron Boone, but it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Thanks for the call, Sal. But going back to what you said, who cares? We all care. It is a never-ending back and forth. And like I said, leaning in. Some nights you'll hear me talk about the make it happen Mets, and I'll praise the Mets, and I'll completely leave the Yankees out of it, and I'll talk about how great some of their players are, and the pitching, and the lab, and the organization of that. Other times I'm like, nah. Nah. Last night I came on like, oh. I bring balance to the force. Sometimes it has to get balanced out. When I hear that the Yankees aren't better than they were last year, when I hear Volpe is a bust, when I hear, this is foreshadowing Judge choking in the postseason, when I hear that this is the Boone swoon and that this is typical Yankees and they can't play small ball and they don't do the fundamentals right and all this stuff, I'm like, all right, sometimes, I got to come in and I got to be that kind of Yankee fan. And I'm actually mad at the Yankees right now. Because with the Mets losing like this, we can't even enjoy the Mets losing streak because yours is worse. You know what I'm saying? Like you're losing, like you're being shut out. You lost to your division rival in the Red Sox. You're losing your lead and first. I'm mad at the Yankees right now. You're losing at the same time the Mets are losing. We can't even point at the Mets and say, 888-808-1019. And I think it is funny because I believe in the universe. You hear me say the universe never unconnects. I believe in baseball gods. I sacrificed a summer to the baseball gods in 2014. It did a lot for me. Being in the MLB fan cave in 2014, I gave up a young summer of my life watching baseball every single day from first pitch to last out in New York City. There were times I wanted to go home. There were times I had some baddies on deck, and I'm like, I can't leave the fan cave until the Angels get this last out. I was 25 years old, turning 26 in the fan cave. They paid us $6,000 a month. It was worth it because that was the first shiny thing on my resume to say that I worked for Major League Baseball. But we all felt like we sacrificed. Like back then, there was no Manfred man on second. I literally watched a 19-inning Red Sox Angels game till like 2, 3 in the morning. But what I'm getting at is like, I do believe that there is power in these microphones. I do believe that the baseball gods work in mysterious ways. And just as the Mets and Yankees were riding high, being in first place with their leads on the division, and we start talking about who is better, Mets or Yankees, and Mets fans start getting at the Yankee fans about Juan Soto. Look at Juan Soto now. He's back. Just as soon as, we start to peacock a little bit about our teams individually, independently, but then pit them against each other, they simultaneously go on losing streaks. They get swept in the same weekend, and then that bleeds into the next series. And here we are with a 5-game losing streak for the Mets. And in the fashion that they did it, blowing a game where Juan Soto homered, where you're getting production out of Tyrone Taylor, where a couple decisions cost them in a game, and then you go into the next game against Chris Sale, and you aren't so confident about that, and it goes pretty much as you expect. Ronald Acuna Jr. homers on the first pitch. You get one of those rare Metsy moments. The runner they're awarded a run because the catcher reached for the ball with his mask. You can't make this up. Just after I was taking calls last night, like about, Luis Torrens has to play. Francisco Alvarez is terrible. Did not upgrade. Luis Torrens had 2 errors tonight. And the Yankees, just as we talk about torpedo bats in the beginning of the season, and then we get into this conversation over the weekend about the dead balls and how there's less drag on the baseballs, and they're 4 feet. Fly balls are dying 4 feet less than they were, and all this stuff confirmed by Major League Baseball and Eno Saris and Evan Drellick writing the article and Andrew McCutcheon talking about it. That happens to the Yankees, and as the Yankees had a 5-run inning in Kansas City, as the Yankees actually go to Kansas City and they face Cameron and Bubich back-to-back, 2 pitchers who were rolling this year, had low ERAs, and they dominate those guys. Judge hits home runs off both of those starting pitchers, and we're looking at Judge as, this guy's got the Triple Crown in his sights. the baseball gods and the universe humble us. And they say, no. Stop talking about the Subway Series. Stop talking about who is better. And like Sal, the last caller, said, who cares, right? Who cares about that? We care. We care. It's easy money. It's easy content. It's easy to do a whole afternoon drive show on that and have a debate series and a back and forth on that, and then turn that into digital content that gets retweets and replies and engagement. Because there's this constant battle of Yankee fans feeling like we're the New York Yankees, we're up here, we're better than you. You're the New York Mets, you'll never be up here, you'll never be better than us. Cute that you have the richest player in the sport or the richest owner who's able to buy the richest player in the sport, but that doesn't mean anything. And then there's the Met fan that says, no, we're here, yo. We're on equal footing with you. Yeah, we lost the Subway Series in the Bronx, but we're better than you. We've got a better record than you, and we have this and this and this, and we can say this. And we're looking you in the eye right now. And those conversations and that back and forth goes on and on and on. Aaron Rodgers is the song that doesn't end. Yankees versus Mets is a song that doesn't end. There'll never be peace. And right now, we can't even look at one another, right? We can't even look at one another and say anything because we're slumping at the same time. We're losing at the same time. I have Mets fans that, as I say anything tonight about Chris Sale, I enjoyed watching Chris Sale pitch. Or I even mentioned Ozzie Albies, who should have scored off a wild pitch, but then did it the second time. Yo, don't say anything. Your team can't score a run. You're not allowed to tweet about the Mets until you score a run. I can tweet whatever I want. I'm watching both games, getting ready to host a show for both Mets and Yankees fans. I probably get 20% calls from Mets fans, 80% calls from Yankees fans, but I don't mind that. I'm not your guy. He's not your buddy guy. I got to get that drop. Look that up on YouTube. Let's see if we can play that. Actually, I think I might have the link because I was like, yo, I got to get a drop of Terrence and Phillip from South Park, where Terrence and Phillip, they're floating away on the boat. I think I got it right now, Alex. Before we get out of here, I'm trying to send it to you. I need a drop on WFAN that gets played for Met fans that call me or don't call me, or Met fans that go at me, where it's, he's not your guy, friend. I used to watch. That's one thing I did used to watch. Check your email, Alex. I just sent it to you. Cue that up. Terrence and Phillip are from Canada. I used to watch South Park from 3rd grade on. I used to get in trouble repeating South Park stuff. The line in South Park that I need clip, maybe Alex can clip it now, is when they're floating away or they're he's not your guy, friend. I'm not your guy, buddy. He's not your buddy, guy. Like that's got to be my drop for Mets fans. Like I'm not Evan Roberts. I'm not Salicata. I'm not Gio. I'm not a Met fan, and I'm not your go-to guy to talk Mets. And I think you've known that from the first time you ever heard my voice on the station. Of course, I'm going to talk Mets.
I'm not your friend, buddy. I'm not your buddy.
I'm not your friend, buddy. He's not your buddy, guy. He's doing the job. He's hosting the show. But this is a bleacher creature. This is a MLB fan cave dweller from 2014 that got picked to represent the Yankees. This is a Yankee guy. This guy bleeds pinstripes. When it really comes down to it, I'm not your guy, friend. I'm not your buddy, guy. But these are my Mets. I've never paid attention to the Mets as much as I've had to pay attention to them now. I enjoyed watching the game last night and the night before. I want the Mets to win and get to the World Series. It's lit. It's lit when both of us are good. Let's do the Subway Series. Let's stop talking about the Subway Series. It's so unlikely. And now we're reminded with the Mets struggling and the Yankees struggling that chances are that ain't going down. Last time that went down was when like South Park first came out. Last time the Yankees and Mets played in the World Series, that's when I first started watching South Park on Comedy Central as a young lad that wasn't really supposed to be. He's not your guy, friend. He's not your buddy, guy. Here comes Chris McMonagle. C-Mac coming up on the Fan. I'll be with you tomorrow night. Good night.
Sports Radio 101.9.
It's been too long. I don't know. I don't know about the movie. Terrence and Phillip, what's the song that they sing? I don't know. Something with poops. Something with going to the toilet. Right? Terrence, let's see. Terrence and Phillip song. Uncle. I forgot about that Uncle F song. Yo, I gotta roll, bro. I gotta get out of C-Mac's way. Yo, we almost got the 1,400 watching on the stream. Yo, you guys are honestly the best. Appreciate everybody. Tomorrow, like 7 p.m. to 10.